everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. I am joined by the one and only, the great Tim Schafer, our friend.
Hello.
Your friend.
I am your friend.
You are.
Thank you for having
You're
me,
a
friend.
wonderful human being, and you make games I love, including this one, Day of the Tentacle, circa 93?
This isn't Day of the Tentacle. Day of the Tentacle is a pixelized, old game, right? See how I'm leading into the
the
remaster?
Great segue.
Yeah.
If only you could bring it back with to make it look like it
Oh,
should
that's
look.
right. That is what we did. We had trained artisans paint and repaint and remaster the game.
Yeah.
And here it is, Day of the Tentacle. Oh, there's that's
what's
the game
happening?
I
We're
remember.
going back in time.
You can play the original game as well, just in all its glory.
So, yeah, you announced this at Gamescom a while ago. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I think it was at PSX.
PSX.
Yeah.
See,
On stage.
There's too many shows. Anyway, because we've already had Grim Fandango remastered.
There's not enough shows for us to announce games at, because we need a lot of shows to announce all our games.
Grim Fandango remastered turned out awesome. It was good to have that game back.
Yeah, it was great because it was like a little reunion for the team. We did that the commentary, and we got them all back in the audio booth to record commentary, and then being able to go up and look at the archives and get the old tapes. It was like a little archaeological adventure.
So is it the same? Are we following the same kind of blueprint here for Day of the Tentacle Special Edition?
Yeah, we're also making it look amazing, and also adding new control schemes, but keeping the old control schemes. In fact, you can mix and match them. You can play with the old art, or you can play with the new art, and you can play with the new interface that's a little bit more like you'd see in the Monkey Island Special Editions or Broken Age or some sort of. But also you can turn on the old verbs.
The verbs.
And look at the verbs as they were before, or you can play it with the new art and the verbs still with the new art. So it's just whatever the player wants to do. So it's different from Grim, and that Grim was a 3D, had to put in new lighting and stuff like this. This is more about repainting the game. Why don't we show that those are the old verbs, so you can play that way. Or if you're looking at the new art, you can play with the new wheel. So you can see that you can select new actions based on that.
Kind of almost Full Throttle-esque. That was sort of the control interface.
The verb skull.
Yeah.
But you can also turn on the verbs when you're in this mode. Do you know how to do that? Oh, yeah,
so,
look at this.
Day of the Tentacle, of course, is like many of your other games
New
of
verbs.
the era. A point-and-click adventure game built around comedy.
Time travel and comedy.
It is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like Hot Tub Time Machine, but without houses.
Yeah, you made it before. This was the first game that you were the project lead on. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. Dave Grossman and I co-project led this one. It was our first thing after we worked on a couple Monkey Island games with Ron, and then this was our first foray as a sequel to one of Ron's games, Maniac Mansion,
which is hidden in here in its entirety. Correct?
Yeah, there was a point where we realized all of Maniac Mansion was smaller than one of the animations we had in Monkey Island 2. And so we're like, we should just include that as a game. And so it was in here, and then it's been out for whenever we did one of the bundles at Lucas. They didn't want to test Maniac Mansion, and so they took it out.
Because it could break things.
Yeah, but we put it back in. Originally I was not going to have it be part of it because that's Ron's game, and I feel like the original creators should really be the people remastering. But we're not remastering that one. We're just including it in its original form only. And so, but people, the fans demanded it. They're like, is it going to be included? And so we felt like we had to put it back in there.
So you're actually getting 2 games for the price of one.
I know. Will the values never end?
it's how can you say no?
A lot of hours of fun. Many hours of fun. I did not say no. I could not say no. But yeah, so the process is similar treatment in that we're doing like developer commentary.
Awesome.
You can hear from Peter Chan and Larry Ahern and Peter McConnell and
you
and me and Dave Grossman all talking about trying to overcome our senior moments and remember the making of this game. And also, we are also doing remastered audio, but also trying to keep it. There's one. If you play with the old version of the audio, you can actually hear our best, tribute to the ad-lib Sound Blaster.
Yeah, I can hear the MIDI style, 16-bit sound now.
And that is one big difference from the Grim remaster, where, you can hear the ad-lib.
Awesome.
But one thing when I was replaying this game with Dave, I was remembering iMuse. iMuse was the old music system we had that started with
Peter
Monkey
make
Island
that?
2. Peter's one of the with Michael Land and Clint Bajakian made the system called iMuse, where it was a state-based. Anyway, you could move around an environment and it would never miss a beat. It would stay on beat, and the new instruments would come in at the beginning of the measure, and it was like one continuous live orchestra just kind of improvising along with your gameplay.
So sort of a dynamic soundtrack of sorts.
Yeah, and very elegant. And you can hear how it kind of just transitioned so naturally. And I was like, wow, I missed that, because when we started getting into digital soundtracks, like I love the Grimm soundtrack, but it's digital and it's a lot more about fade in, fade out, or crossfades. And, you're not as dynamic in that way. That's a trade-off you make for the good quality of the live musicians
Sure.
and stuff. But for this game, it was like, we really want to stick with that. Instead of re-recording it with an orchestra, we wanted to keep it as dynamic and iMuse centered. So it's just nicer samples on the remaster version, nicer quality samples, but still controlled by iMuse.
So I'm going to venture a guess that most of the IGN audience that's hearing this is not an old man like me.
You got a young, hip audience here at IGN.
They're all young and happening, and they probably never. This will be their first time playing Day of the Tentacle. So give me the Cliff's Notes elevator pitch.
Explain, kids. In the old days, we used to point and click at things. This is an adventure game, and it's about 3 different characters: Hoagie, Bernard, and Laverne, and you can jump back and forth between all 3 of them. And
so you did it before Grand Theft Auto 5 did it.
Give me a break. This is '93 we're talking about, and since the first Maniac Mansion, you had kids you could switch back and forth between, and so they find out that these tentacle monsters have drank toxic sludge and evolved the ability to take over the world.
Yeah, it's
basically
the opening cutscene of the game.
Yeah, and so you try and go back in time to stop that from ever happening, but there was a fake diamond used in the time machine, and so it sent you all to different time periods. Hoagie here is 200 years in the past. He's hanging out with George Washington and John Hancock and Thomas Jefferson, and Laverne was sent 200 years in the future to a world where tentacles have taken over the world, and you can flush objects to each other through the chronogon, which is the time machine, and you can use these items to change the Constitution if you have to, or do whatever you need to do to solve these puzzles. And puzzles in the past affect the future, and that just led to a lot of just crazy situations and mistreatment of hamsters.
So we're actually playing on PS4. It's also PC. You managed to get as we wind down here, you managed to convince Sony to, because Disney owns Lucas.
Disney owns Lucas.
So you had to make some voodoo sorcery happen with the right people in order to get this made.
Yeah, we it is a big company, but we had some advocates there that were fans of the old games who fought for it to happen. So it was a miracle as far as business deals goes, but it happened, and we did it again. First with Grimm, and then with Day of the Tentacle. And I hope your audience likes it, because it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a funny Tim Schafer adventure game. I don't know how you could not want that.
Don't forget Dave Grossman.
Dave Grossman as well.
On one of those, I think it was Adventure Gamers, one of their lists, it was the #1 adventure game of all time. So
it's high praise.
Not to be tooting my own horn, but that was we're really proud of this game. It has just a special place in our hearts because it's very compact. It's all in one mansion with 3 different time periods, and it's one of those games where we really just, as far as the humor, we didn't try to make it anything but a comedy. It's just a lot of jokes. It's very inspired by Chuck Jones cartoons. If you've ever seen Duck Amuck or the Barbara Seville one, where they're just like anything crazy can happen, and that's why it looks so crazy. And it was a lot of fun to make, and I hope people like playing it.
So if you're tired of dark, gritty,
it's not dark or gritty
games, it's the polar opposite of that.
Take a break from mass murder. I mean, I'm all for mass murder. Don't get me wrong. And dark and gritty, that's just my life.
Right? Do we have a release window time frame for this yet?
Do we have a release window time frame? What?
Don't tell me you've got
Early next year.
Early next year, we're being told by top men.
We actually consulted a genie
top
just
men.
then. There was a genie who told us the future.
Well, I very much look forward to it, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Stoked for me to play it again for the first time because my old brain has forgotten
oh my God,
every
you just
puzzle.
wrote a marketing tagline: "Play it again for the first time."
You can. I'm going to charge you for to use that. But Tim, thank you so much. And for more on everything Tim Schafer is up to at Double Fine, including Day of the Tentacle Special Edition, keep it tuned right here to IGN.